you're 100% accountable for your purpose and like how you want your life to how you want to how you would want your life to be desired to be like how you desire your life to be basically. And I think that is the most important part of everything. It's just, as you said, writing your story. So starting with who do you want to actually become, and surrounding yourself with an environment that helps supports that as well, of who you define to be. And there's going to be days, right, where I know people say, oh, there's things that I don't have control over. There might be some situations or events that happen which are not in your control, right? And that might be like in the form of ripped pages or like like the pen leaks or something, and then it goes over on the book. And that you might think of it in that moment as like, oh wow, it just ruined the book. But maybe in hindsight later down the line, you think, okay, that was a piece of art. That was a beautiful piece of art that I wouldn't have ever imagined or seen, because it led me to a path that I couldn't have ever planned for, which was actually better in hindsight. Like the domino idea of sometimes dominoes fall, but then they create a path that you wouldn't have ever imagined. And you're able to now walk that path, look back in hindsight and think, wow, I think it just happened for better reasons why I just deviated.
I agree. There's this concept of the butterfly effect, right? I'm not sure if you've heard it, but
yeah, chaos theory.
Do you know how insane it is that it takes one little thing that leads to another, 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 leads to another.
You can imagine the endless amount of probabilities of what could
and it's insane. And that's what sometimes things out of your control could be, right? But in saying that, it's embracing the fact that whatever happens for the better in life. Now, I'm not saying that if your mum, father, any loved one passes away, that's better than what it was. That's completely offhand of what I'm trying to say, right? The death of anyone is not, it's not the best thing to experience. You experiencing some sort of violence or being assaulted is not a good thing. But there are some parts in life where you might go through a messy breakup, or you might lose that job, or you might be impacted by something, and you're like, this is not the ideal. I feel bad. I feel really crap about how I feel, but that moment will lead to a better moment. It's just that you're not aware of it yet. I just want to say, there's a movie called Kingdom of Heaven. King Baldwin IV was a king of Jerusalem, right?
Love this.
Yeah. I think you might know the quote.
I know about it. Just go ahead.
The quote?
Yeah, just go ahead with it.
So there's a quote: a king may move a man, a father may claim a son, but that man can also move himself, and only then does that man truly begin his own game.
I love how you brought that up, because like I was actually recently reading about him as well, and I love that quote. I really affiliate with what he said there, and his story is actually very powerful. I think you've probably read about it.
I have King of Jerusalem.
Yeah,
from age of 16, won a victory, had a disease where his skin was leprosy or something like that.
Correct.
Yeah, not the easiest thing to deal with, but
he was also 13 at the time where I think he was crowned king.
Wow.
So you can imagine a 13-year-old who's got, what was it, leprosy or something?
Yeah.
So basically his body is like, I think it was like paralyzed.
Yeah.
And his nerve functions and everything were like paralyzed. So he learned sword fighting with just one arm, and he learned how to ride a horse by using his knees. Like he was like crippled, like he's struggling, but he was able to do all that at the age of 13 whilst also leading like armies and kingdoms. And he also was able to, I think, survive against Saladin, who was a very wise, very strategic man. So he's able to like gain his respect as well. And they had like very like conflict, Christianity versus Muslim, they had a lot of conflicts, but I think they had probably respect for each other as well. And he was able to, I think, survive until 23, unfortunately, but he did a lot during that decade-long period. And what he did was like, it's amazing how in his condition, despite his condition being the worst, he was able to still achieve and do so much for the sake of his people and protect them for a long period of time. And yeah, when I was reading it, I was like very inspired. I was like, wow, he's he's an example of someone who has had the worst conditions, like being born in that state, but yet was able to achieve so much more than like what his environment was. He's able to
Yeah.
surpass.
I mean, this quote is from a movie, so I don't know if he said it, but the fact that it's, and only then does that man truly begin his own game. So you can have a lot of people pull the strings around you, but you are responsible for your own thing at the end of the day. You're responsible for that, right? Holding that pen and writing it the way you want. No one's going to hold that pen for you.
That's
Very powerful.
Couldn't have said any better. Yeah,
I agree. And I
very
think
powerful.
from experience, people love the idea of someone coming and rescuing them. And look, sometimes you meet luck and opportunities where you meet people that give you good opportunities, but that comes from preparation, good work ethic, and an element of luck. You've had to put yourself in that position for that person to notice you first. So yes, you might get rescued by someone, but you have to put yourself in that position first. It's not random. Element of luck, not purely luck.